I'm at the Mashpee River with the trustees of Reservations property, which is just opposite the road that goes to the Mashpee transfer station. And I want to show you this shrub. It looks like a fern, has a long stem, and it smells really, really sweet. It is called sweet fern. It belongs to the bayberry family. And the great thing about sweet fern that's all along this old road that's now a path is that the oil of sweet fern takes away the oil of poison ivy. So if you're on a hike and you grab poison ivy by mistake, or it brushes up against you and there's sweet fern, then you can just crush up the leaves and rub them over the area. Rub, 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 rub. And that will take away the oil of the poison ivy. And you shouldn't get the rash. It has to be quick. And unfortunately, it would be super, super awesome if sweet fern always grew right next to poison ivy. But not all the time. Sweet fern, great plant to know. If you plant it in your yard, though, just know that it does tend to take over. So I'm almost to the river, and there's little bits of hard top from the old Asher's Path road that actually used to run right across the river. But at this little bend, I wanted to show you my favorite rose. So this is Rosa Carolina, or the Carolina rose. Oh, I'm sorry, am I in your web? And then up above the Carolina rose is a cherry tree that is not doing well. It has this black knot fungus all over it. And so, as I like to say, the fungus is among us, but black knot fungi is a killing fungi. It actually kills the cherry. I guess Mainers call it SH on a stick, or we'll just say poop on a stick. And then down at the bottom, amongst the Rosa Carolina, there's Virginia creeper, which belongs to the grape family. And then you always have to watch out for Virginia creeper, not because it's going to harm you, but because poison ivy vines tend to track along with it. They can use the Virginia creeper vine as a hold. And so you can see the poison ivy has the 3 leaflets on one leaf, and the center leaflets out on a stalk. And then the Virginia creeper has 5 leaflets or more, and that's called palmate, the arrangement of the leaves, which is super cool. Virginia creeper turns gorgeous colors in the fall. But just watch out for the poison ivy. Where the hardtop ends. So I'm following this old Asher's Path road. And I'm coming up to the river. Oh, this is the grave of a guitar. Oh, my husband's heart would be sad. Someone smashed it here. Looks like there's an old metal bar that might have been part of a gate. But can you hear the water? And the road continues across there, and then it comes out onto Great Neck Road. And the water is moving very swiftly. You can actually walk in the river. It's pretty shallow, and it comes up to Route 28 and goes underneath and goes out to Papaneset Bay. And there's sweet pepper bush on the edge of the river, and there's dewberry down there with its little white flowers. Dewberry is a briar, and it tends to make you trip if you walk through it. And the berries really aren't like blackberry. They're not juicy at all. There's a red-eyed vireo. And then I don't think you can see it, but up in the tree, there is a velvet-winged damselfly. They're here on the Mashpee River, and they're at Santuit Pond. They're like this incredible royal blue with black velvety wings. It's on the other side of, oops. Did you see it fly? I hope so. Maybe it'll come closer. They're just incredibly beautiful. Damselflies rest with their wings folded on their back. Dragonflies, their cousins, rest with their wings outstretched. And there's a couple of them, but they're so small, unless they get close, you wouldn't be able to see. There goes a dragonfly. This is really beautiful here. I haven't been here in years and years, so I will have to come back. Mashpee River. Here's sarsaparilla again. I wanted to show you the pretty berries. All those flowers, those globes of flowers got fertilized, and now they're these beautiful purple berries. The root of sarsaparilla is what they used to make sarsaparilla soda out of. And sarsaparilla has 3 leaves with the multiple leaflets on their leaves. There's a lot of ants. So this whole thing right here is a leaf from here all the way down. And there's a leaf, and there's a leaf. So sarsaparilla, or sarsaparilla, is here on this Trustees of Reservations property along the Mashpee River. And I hear a hermit thrush. Doo-doo-doo. And the other guy, the da-da-da-da-da-da, that's the vireo. I love hermit thrushes. They're like someone's playing the flute in the woods. These woods are very damp. It was a very foggy night here on July the 2nd. I'm going to follow this path and see if it goes back out. There were some lady slippers here. So it looks like one flowered, the other one doesn't have a stem, but this one didn't get fertilized. There's no big bump, like a little potato growing from the top that would have all the seeds in it. But it's great to know that there are lady slippers here on this property. This lady slipper wasn't pollinated either, and the flower's just hanging there as it's just breaking apart. But that's the third, and here's lady slipper leaves. It didn't flower. But I'll have to come back the end of May, the beginning of June, and check out these lady slippers here at the Trustees of Reservation. This is an interesting little flower. You would walk right by it if you didn't notice it. It has these great little flowers, and this is cow wheat, and cow wheat belongs to the figwort family. They have this great yellow lip on them, and they're blooming right now. They're almost done. They've been blooming for about 2 weeks now in the woods. Native wildflower. Here's my first mushroom that I found, and somebody's been taking little nibbles of it. I don't see any slug slime, so I'm not sure who's doing it. Box turtles will eat mushrooms, and they make bites that look like slices of pie. This one I think is a rusula. The only mushrooms that I eat, I buy at the supermarket. This is a great color in the woods, this great pinky color, little nibbled mushroom. Let's see if we can look underneath. I don't think so. Maybe. I position the camera. Pretend that you're just this little toad. See the gills? That's where the spores come down, from the gills. And then in the soil around this mushroom, there's all white spiderwebby stuff. And that's the main body of the fungi. The fungus is among us. It's called mycelium. It's like sticky spider webs, and that's the body. Fungi is very important for decomposing. This chipmunk is right up over my head. It's not a chipmunk. I think it's ovenbirds. Oh my gosh. Maybe a baby ovenbird with its parent. him. He's right on the other side of the branch. So and they've come over here into the pine, and they're singing. I wonder. Can you hear them? It's very cool. Ovenbird. So their babies have already come out of the nest, I guess. That seems what it's. They're behaving like a parent and a child, just touching base. Very cool. So that is not a chipmunk. See, even naturalists make mistakes. That's what happens when you don't look. The ground here is just littered with these little male pine cones all along the ground here. These are the pollen cones from the white pines that are right up above my head. So they've dropped all their yellow pollen and then they just fall off the tree. So these are the daddy part of the pine tree. The male pollen cones. And sometimes you can see them and they're much bigger, like pitch pines are longer. There's the ovenbird again. Teacher, 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 teacher. Very cool here. Bingo. Got one got fertilized. Lady slipper. See the big bulge there? It's going to be filled with seeds. That's amazing. Pink lady slipper. They cannot be transplanted, and transplanted. This plant has a relationship with organisms in the soil, and it needs them in order to survive. Dr. Shirley Cross, who oversaw the wildflower garden at Greenbrier Nature Center for many, many years, tried multiple times digging up lady slippers from her property in Maine, up near Katahdin, and bringing them down and planting them in the wildflower garden, but they never stayed, even though she brought lots and lots of the soil around them. So lady slippers do not transplant. They are protected. They've been protected since the early 1900s. Let's just leave them in the woods. Don't pick them, just enjoy them. This is great to see one that got fertilized by a big bumblebee. These woods at the Trustees of Reservations are so wet that they're a great home for another kind of holly. I've seen the American holly here. There's some over here. They're big trees. But then there's inkberry holly, which are these low shrubs, and they have black berries on them, which I'm assuming was maybe used for dyes. And they're an evergreen, very, very shiny leaf. And so inkberry holly is an evergreen that we can see in wet woods or moist woods. And there's a little spider. I don't know if he shows up on the video. At least your web I didn't walk through. That's great.